10,000 hours is a steep mountain to climb to become a master, especially when the task at hand puts a relentless demand on your body. There is nothing casual about this sport. It's all in, all effort, all focus. It takes a lot from you, but the reward is unmatched. Mastery of oneself, an acute understanding of your weaknesses with an explosive sense of your strengths. Being able to complete the climb to mastery requires the proper nutrition. This is why it's important to take in a potent blend of electrolytes that is in tune with your output and brings strength to your goals. This potent blend is only found in salt electrolytes. Salt targets your depleted electrolyte levels with a boost of hydration and health. It gives your body the baseline recovery it needs.
What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you live with another great installment of The Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and The Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're okay. You know, not everybody's okay. We'll get to that in a second. But I will tell you this. We have had an exhausting week, and the fact that we're even here today is a true accomplishment. So I'm proud of me, and I'm proud of you for watching. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're joined here by a longtime friend of the show and also survivor of a hectic week, one Kevin Sherrill. Kevin, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Tim didn't make it, so I've brought a co-host.
Thank you. So can we discuss this lower third of yours?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you run things through spell check?
I think you're aware of when I typed that and what time of night it was. I don't want to start admitting to things on camera, but we'll say I wasn't exactly substance free. I had a bottle of wine open and was just flying away.
Sure. No, I get it. And what's concerning to me is, so I am a copywriter at heart, and I was struggling at it because I said I could just fix it, but that wouldn't be true to your core. And if nothing else, as a producer on this show, I am always at my core trying to give you your essence, your spirit, your inner soul on this show. So when I saw you make the misspelling there, I said, well, if I put it in quotation marks, at least people know it's not me that said it. Allegedly. Yes. I cried laughing seeing it, and then I said, well, I guess that's what's going to happen there. So, Kevin, what has it been like to be back in civilian world? It's now been a week. What have you felt? How has training been going for you?
Man, it's still civilian world is putting it. I got 6 fighters that are fighting tonight on the NFC fights, local promotion. I'm cornering everybody from the second fight of the night to the last fight of the night. So it's been, it's fight week for me. So I came back from the PGF, immediately went into fight week, immediately went into preparing for Goose fighting next weekend. And then I'm flying to Rio straight after I come back from that. So it hasn't really stopped. If anything, the PGF was like just honestly a different thing to tackle. I've got 4 weeks in a row of like all my homies are getting their last competitions and fights of the year in.
Did it feel awkward to see your friends get on a plane to go to Rio and you weren't joining them, even though you will join them soon?
I am so upset, man. I can't. They're gonna be there for 3 weeks. I'm gonna be there for 4 days. Like there's no way to cut it. Goose needed to take this fight, and there was no shot I was missing it. Period.
Sure.
There's no way. Yeah, that kid's like a brother to me. It's like, if it was one, I'm not gonna lie. If it was one of my other fighters, I might have missed it. I might have said I'm out. Dang, bro, best of luck. But because it's Goose, I'm like, yeah, I'll be there, bro. Of course. The only question was whether I was going to Rio and then flying back to Houston and then flying back to Rio, and that didn't work logistically.
Because what I knew hurt you was seeing your boys on an airplane in some fancy space seats. Like, they had room, let's just put it that way. And then
dragging
the tail end, getting there probably by cargo ship, being dropped off, and then being like, hey, enjoy your time here, sir.
Bro, that's every time we go anywhere. Those guys are in the space seats, and I'm, 4 rows back. If it was the Titanic, I'm dying immediately. Those guys might make it on the life raft. I'm a goner.
It'll be amazing when they go, hey, can you send this back to Kevin? Just pass this down 5 rows. And they're like, okay, it's just soup. They're like, oh, they gave us an appetizer. You can have some of it if you want.
No way they admit they know me from first class. No shot. Like, I don't have any friends of the lower classes.
From your perspective, how is things? Have you seen Paul? Did he go back to training this week? I already saw Ernesto is back to his normal ways. And congratulations, Ernesto. I saw that you won at ping pong, and I'm curious to see it now because, I like learning what other people's hobbies are.
Yeah, apparently he's pretty good at ping pong, which makes sense. He has the wingspan of an albatross. I imagine he can cover the whole table. They managed to get into these like recreational competitions. Like, I think they had like a Galaga competition at ADCC trials. They always pick like Airbnbs that have like a weird rec setup. And I've noticed that they don't allow me into that because I would destroy them.
Or is it that you're unhealthily competitive? Because, Kev, we still haven't gotten.
Have you met these guys?
No, I know how they are. But sometimes, and maybe this is a compliment, I'm not sure. I haven't quite worded it out in my head yet. But sometimes other competitive people recognize, this isn't my guy. I want to beat someone who's easier because I want to win today. So maybe they exclude you because you might be a threat. But more realistically, I think they're smart enough to pick games that you probably haven't tried yet.
Yeah, the last time they did the, I think it was Galaga, because I had a Galaga machine in my basement growing up, and now it's ping pong, and I'm like, oh, cool. We had one of those in college, and my coach at Northern Iowa had one at college, and we got into some very competitive, very aggressive ping pong games. Like, I'm about that life, son. Let's go.
Good to know. I should have known better that when you name dropped Galaga the first time, it was like, that's a random game to drop in.
Yeah, that's a very specific game.
What person would name drop a game like, oh, you had one in your house? Oh, okay. That checks out.
So
I will say this. Go ahead.
My competition team, we do get-togethers every now and then when we travel on tournaments or whatever, just the blue belts that I have been training up at American Top Team Lima. And we had a Super Smash Brothers and a Mario Kart night.
Nice.
And I remain the champion in both of those. I just beat these people up and down the floor. Like, we'd go to training and I'd fuck them up in sparring, and then we go to play Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers, and I'd fucking destroy them.
Feels very aggressive for no reason. Like, jiu-jitsu is kind of a healthy outlet. I actually think your Super Smash Bros is probably the unhealthy version of whatever it is you're doing.
It's even better because I'm playing Kirby and I'm just absolutely like just this tiny, adorable little bubblegum pink player and playing just the most annoying game ever.
Good to know. I will say for our audience here, poker was advertised to Kevin and he respectfully declined. So that tells me he's smart enough to know how competitive he is and that even that has limitations because he's like, no, I'm good. And I thought nobody really competitive says that.
Yeah, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Like, what's that Sun Tzu? It's like about picking the battle. It's the battles. Whatever he fucking says. I don't know. Sun Tzu says some shit like that. And that's not a battle I'm going into with Raph. One day we're gonna start like a poker night for all of us, for the production guys, and I will play until Raph shows up, and then I will get up from the table. You know what? Turns out I gotta sleep, guys.
This is okay. You know what? I take this as a compliment, as chicken shit as it is. I take it as the you saying, I'm so down to do PGF season 7 as an alternate, except for Marcin. If he's in, then I'm out. So I feel like that equivalent. And I'll be honest, I'm not even that good. So I just like playing with friends. We do a recreational thing. It's for shit and giggles. It's usually a $10 entry. You can rebuy if you want to, but it's
now he's playing possum.
No, listen, it's just I'm reporting the facts. Those are the facts. And if I really wanted to take your money, I would ask for more. But I just literally am like, I like a social game. I like to see how people do. And it's for fun. So that's all. Don't you do anything for fun, Kevin?
Win.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, we should address the fact that there's been a still photo of Tim to my right for a good amount of time here. We should say this. Tim not feeling super great after PGF. Unfortunately, didn't do the last couple days. We are aware he's alive. So that much I can tell you, which makes where we're about to go next, I think it softens the blow. We'll definitely be addressing him throughout the show. We may even cut to him at certain points for his perspectives just to do that. But this is definitely, I feel like the photo you select for the in memoriam photo. So if we did have, I'm not saying he's passing, he's fine. I'm saying if we did have a booklet we had to make, like this would be on the cover, I feel like, because it's a nice photo, right?
Yeah, when we end the show, it'll be like, don't you forget about me. And it's just pictures of Tim.
My producer brain works too hard sometimes. And I definitely had a moment where I thought we should do an RIP segment. And I was going to sing Sarah McLachlan. And it was going to be dedicated to the couch that was missing a fucking nub on the bottom. Tim, my eye that got poked. And I just didn't have the time. It was a funny bit, but everything that happens like that is like, nope, no time. We got to move. Keep going. So there is that. I will tell you guys this. A few notes. First one comes from, oh my goodness, that is tiny. What the fuck is that?
He's whispering.
No, this makes me mad.
Isaac, speak up.
Oh my God. I fixed this on another thing and it just fucked up. I'll just read you what it says. There's no reason to even spend more time on that. It just says, Kevin on a cargo ship on the way to Rio is a vlog I would watch. And then it says, staff poker game. I'm down to lose some pocket lint. And I'll be honest with you, maybe we should play for food because then you'll see the real version of how I play. If it's for $10, it's kind of a very, lackadaisical me. If we're playing for food and keeping me happy and brain work, then yes, there is that. So anyway, let's go to the board and that will tell you our very first topic here. And I hope it'll make more sense here. But yes, we are mostly alive. And by mostly, I wanted to give us both an opportunity to kind of say, you were talking about the training, the adjustment. Now it's the opportunity to tell us how exactly you survived the PGF, because some people didn't. Some people were broken. Some people ended up leaving a few days early, and some people got sick. I mean, a lot of people got sick, and we tried not to talk about it. It almost made the board on 5 straight days of just saying, like, should we talk about how many people are getting sick and dying here? So now I wanted to give you the opportunity. So, Kevin, you now have time on the clock. Let us know how it is you survived the PGF, or even just survived the week after PGF.
Shout out to Tim's A1 greens that he let me have. He let me have a couple of packets on day 1. Hopefully those weren't ones that were necessary for him, but I really think like it was really hard to find a vegetable in Vegas. It was extremely difficult to like get nutritional value out of anything. We weren't having consistent meals. Tim let me have 2 packets of A1 greens. I really hope that's not what led to him getting sick. In which case, Tim jumped in front of the bullet for me. So shout out to those. I have no idea how I didn't get more sick because we were up like 1 a.m., 3 a.m. When I left after the finale, we all had drinks till like 3 a.m. or I had drinks with some people until 1 and then drinks with you guys until 3. And then I packed, grabbed my stuff, left for the airport at 3:30. Didn't sleep until after training that night. It was crazy. Yeah, I don't know how I'm not sick. No clue. I'm not that young anymore. I can't do that shit.
Well, I'm glad that you're okay. Although now that you tell me this, it is feasible.
I might have killed Tim.
Yeah, you probably killed Tim. And I was thinking about that. I was like, we just figured this deal out for you. That would mean we'd have to find a new third again. And I don't really want to do that. So we need to keep Tim alive.
Yeah, I thought my contract was up. Plans were already in motion. Tim was already in jeopardy. And then you guys were like, hey, you want to come on and be the third host? And I was like, ooh, can't take it back.
That is a fair assessment, which I guess brings me to this. Ladies and gents, we're happy to announce that, yes, you haven't just been seeing him for a good while. Kevin Sherrill will now be joining us as an official third member of the group. We're happy to say it. And more importantly, I speak on behalf of Tim in saying he will be alive and well for future episodes. Kevin, we are so happy to have you back on the show. Originally, this was supposed to be a let's do CGI ADCC thing. Then it became a let's do PGF thing. And then afterwards, we were kind of like, well, let's see where we're at. And we're happy to report that you will be a part of the group, and we're very excited to bring you into all the future stuff that we have planned. So thank you for sticking around, and we look forward to doing a lot dumber stuff with you, sir.
Yeah, man, it's been a ton of fun. It's been a ton of fun. I'm glad I can be a part of it.
Well, that just means the work increases too. So I will let you know that.
Wow.
Sort of like how, I don't take money unless people are kind of there. I don't assign work unless you're really a part of the crew. So guess what? You get to see the real version of me now, which is A+. Host RAF is great. Producer RAF depends on the day. We'll see. But nonetheless, very happy. Kevin Sherrill, the official third member of the Bullpen. In case it wasn't clear enough to any of you guys, I would have put a post about it, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's been a rough week, guys. Like we got stuff to do. And as we're talking about being alive, next week, Subversive, I will be producing that event. So shortly after this, I get on a call to finalize that. That'll be live and free for all on our YouTube page at Subversive Official. Subversive, no E on it. There you go. All right, Kevin, let's go to our second topic, which I think is important because what I wanted to do here was give us a chance, just in case anybody didn't see what happened at the PGF, to get kind of like a quick summary here. So I'm going to put some time on the clock. I'd like for you in 1 minute to do your best summary of what happened at the PGF.
Yep. All right. So highest watchability in the history of jiu-jitsu. Most exciting season, tons of action, absolutely insane. Also, possibly related, 50% injury rate, 14 of the 28 total, not just the main roster, 14 of the 28 total guys had to take matches off for injury. So your boy got in. That was cool. Ryan Aiken put up insane fucking numbers which is crazy in a season that was already putting up insane fucking numbers. Like in any other season, the fact that, 5 people outscored Elijah Carlton would have been huge news. And this season, it was just like, yeah, everybody's putting numbers up. It was wild. The finale was crazy. Turns out size matters. Who knew? People are devastated everywhere. Short kings are inconsolable. Yeah, wild ass season.
Thank you for that recap. So I should also tell you this. We've learned a lot about Kevin. And we've learned that he likes stats, which is great. I mean, a lot of people are fans of stats. We did find out not a fan of doing stats, like actually checking the math and all of that. So I thought I would just very quickly update.
Did Egg check my stats, or did you?
Oh, there's nothing to check, Kevin. I just have this.
No way. That's not real.
What do you mean it's not real?
No, I'm gonna let you finish. Okay. I'm gonna let you finish before I start protesting.
Okay, there's nothing to protest. I'm just updating people on the facts. So I won this at the last PGF. I was awarded it at this PGF. And a couple times you came up to me and you were like, hey, Raf, just so you know, I've got my eye on that thing. And I said, child, please, it's sleeping. Don't wake it. And then you would come up to me and you'd be like, hey, we're tied. And I go, did you do this math? And you're like, nah, Egg told me. And I go, what the fuck does that mean? So then you came up to me the night of and you're like, hey, we're tied. And I said, this thing goes on one more day. Then you and Egg throw this big the-do over it. Egg forgets how we did it last year. And it made me a little concerned because I was like, all right, well, let me go check this out. Unfortunately, I have a lot of stuff to do. But there was one thing I didn't ask, which is, did you do the math?
I mean, I can do the math quickly.
Okay. Did you want to take some time to do the math? We can allow it here. I have time to spare.
What's the math? I'm going to do it, but what's the math?
Hold on. I'm not doing the homework for you. You can look up the scores.
Well, if I get the answer I'm going to hang up the phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if I get the answer, it's like, hey, cool. You won in a landslide as you should. Then it's like, oh, okay, cool. No need to do the math. We're good to go.
See, Kevin is also part of the reason why recalls don't happen in this country is he's like, is that the number? Sounds good to me. All right.
Perfect. That's the number I needed it to be.
I just wanted to let you know that.
There's no way I lost this thing.
What do you mean there's no way you lost it?
There's no way I lost this thing. Go ahead.
So, how do I put this? Maybe you didn't lose. Maybe you just tied. And do you know how ties work in fighting for a championship?
They pay off a referee?
No. Good try. So, in a championship bout, you wouldn't know this. Let's say like the UFC. You know the old phrase, to be the champ, you have to beat the champ? Well, I guess that means that this title doesn't go anywhere because you never officially beat the champ. So I'm going to find somewhere pretty behind me. And I'm just going to put what do you think? Does this go well up here? If I just put it like right here, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that actually looks pretty good.
Let's see, we got Nathan at on 9, Cam Hurd. Just making sure my numbers are right.
Somebody can do math, I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, all of a sudden, that math is coming in handy.
What are the numbers?
Ooh, you want to know what's going to go crazy?
What's that?
Let me wait till I finish doing this math. Mm-hmm. Yo, where'd Adam Bradley go? There he is. All right, cool. Ernesto. I already had the math. I'm just double checking.
I know you did.
Ooh, here we go. Cool. All right, so what do you believe the totals are?
So if you include the finals, which we do, it is 94-94.
We do not include the finals, actually. But
Who says
I like your spirit.
that? First of all, you can't come into this league and tell us how it's run. But go on.
The regular season's never been it. Like, if we're deciding a team trophy, the finals throws everything out the window.
No, it doesn't. It still keeps the
Yeah.
points. The only thing that you maybe is questionable is if you do the elbow genie points, which I wouldn't do for that one. But go on.
Simple question.
Mm-hmm.
How many points do you think Polar Diaz scored?
I see. You're going off of imaginary points, whereas I'm going off of the actual smooth comp points. And on smooth comp, Paul has, let me read here, 21 points.
So he has 22.
He does not, because smooth comp has 21. And unfortunately,
He submitted
Kevin,
Brad Schneider inside of a minute and wasn't
Yikes.
given credit for it.
Ooh, too
So
bad
his
it's not
real
on
world
smooth
points
comp.
that actually happened put me up by 1.
It does not, because smooth comp is what I've gone through, and these results have been certified. They have screenshots. They have been documented.
Would
I'm
you like me
so
to pull
sorry.
up the video of him submitting Brad Schneider in under a minute? It's a short video.
You can pull up whatever you want. I'm just telling you, this is
'Cause
what
it-
smooth comp says, and unfortunately, we go by smooth comp.
So now we're making up rules. We're just going to warp reality.
There's not rules to be made up here, Kevin. I'm just letting
I
you
win
know.
by a point. I'm your
You're
champ.
you're just telling people that you won an election that you did not win. And I'm here
I'm
to
going to ask
tell
a
you,
series of questions.
please try
Is
to.
an elbow chini submission worth an extra
elbow
point?
chini?
Elbow genie.
Elbow
Worth
chini.
an extra
okay.
point.
So an elbow
Mhm.
chini is what I usually order from the macaroni.
My man is
Go on.
avoiding the question because he doesn't want to lose.
I don't have to, because it's what smooth comp says. And who am I?
Yeah, but you know it's wrong.
I don't know what's wrong. I don't know any of that's happening. I just know that
I know
you're
it's
somebody who's
wrong.
biased, who is a training partner of his, who's trying to get an extra point or two. And yet, if it was that important of a point or two, then why didn't they do that? Because it would have changed his placement, and him and Chris Wojcik would have swapped. So I guess the question is, why are you trying to rewrite history here, sir? And
Because they
you're
would have
telling me-
swapped it 4 and 5, so they still would have, I think, had the same. No, because a bunch of random shit happened. A bunch of people pulled out. Cal Bain
Everybody
pulled out.
went in and out. So nope, that's not exactly what would have happened. If it was 4 and 5,
Well-
that's a different story. But it was 5 and 6. So I
Yeah,
guess what
I don't
I'm
know what to
saying
tell you.
here is, Kevin, good game. I'm so glad that you did the best you could. Nonetheless, I'm just, let's see. I think there's something out here.
Uh-huh.
Anyway. Also, what weight are you
By
currently
both
at?
metrics, to answer my mom in the caption there, what was Egg's scoring for the fantasy points?
Mm.
Egg has us scoring a tie under both rule set based on smooth comps. However, smooth comp is wrong. It is recorded Polar Diaz submitting Brad Schneider by break, but not with the elbow genie point. He submitted him in like 35 seconds or something. It wasn't even close. They just forgot to record it.
So nice. I wish smooth comp was the most reputable thing in the world. Anyway, well, I got so bored with what you were talking about.
So I'm your champ. Let's go.
I also wanted to ask a question here. What weight are you currently at, Kevin?
Why?
Just curious.
We'll say 85.
85. Can you prove that on a scale right now?
Probably not.
That's what I thought. See, I
can go stand on it.
85, so not only that, this holds true for a number of different reasons.
It says it's the 185
It's the
belt.
185 belt on here is the best thing in the world. Whereas I'm pretty much 185 on the dot and can prove it. You know what I mean? You were just drinking a little
I can
coffee.
make that weight tomorrow morning,
make
son.
The weight is the dumbest thing in the world. I can
Listen,
make that weight. So I'm telling
The
you,
dumbest thing in the world is pretending an elbow genie point didn't happen, as well as giving
Look at
Elijah
smooth
Carlton
comp.
6 for a
Smooth
break,
comp
which
is
you
what
benefited
it
from.
is. You know what it is? From that, I can't deny it. I was not in there. I cannot be held responsible.
I'm just gonna say
Elijah
some shit to
Carlton
Egg
asking for
and get the points retroactively fixed. I'm just
No,
gonna get the points
no.
fixed, and then
Listen.
I'm your champ.
That's not how that works, Kevin. And unfortunately,
Mhm.
you have another season, season 8.
Listen,
You can try again. And
if
I
you're
wish you
going
the
off
best.
smooth comp, I win. Because also they had Marcin down 1 on my previous estimates.
No.
So if you're
Kevin,
going off
we've
smooth comp, then we
discussed how
don't
you
then we
don't
don't
do
involve the
stats
playoffs because the
correctly.
playoffs don't score any points.
So even if we took off the playoffs, okay, just assuming you'll think, we still fucking tied. There was a tie all the way through. And what I have to tell you is this. You are talking about results that you did not get on smooth comp. And as a result of that, you're using Kevin math, which, as we've seen, is you always prefacing with, I don't know if these are accurate. Yikes. So we can't trust that.
No.
We have to trust in the system of smooth comp.
I said flat out they aren't accurate because I know for a fact what happened in real life.
But it doesn't reflect it. No one did it, and now it is too late. Thus, screenshots.
Says who?
It says the champ, first of all. And second of all,
Yeah. So since when does the athlete get to arbitrate?
when they're the creator
you're the
and executive
competitor-
producer of the show. See, this is the unfortunate part of coming
If you're the
in.
competitor. Oh, so it's just straight corruption. You are simultaneously a competitor and the referee? What is this?
But
The
I didn't
PGF
do the
finale?
scoring, so that's not exactly how that works. The scoring was by an independent company, and we are adhering to what they say, which I thought you would have. You know, man, we should have had you say.
If that were the case,
would have
then we wouldn't
certified
involve the
these
playoffs
results.
because those
I get it
aren't
now. Oh my
scored.
God, I know exactly who I'm talking to now. Sir,
being
will you
robbed.
certify these results if the election goes a certain way? Wow, it's just history has a way of repeating itself. Nonetheless, Kevin, good try, and I'm so proud of what you did. You didn't win, and
Sure
I'm
did.
so sad. You didn't though, but
Listen,
you know what? A very other
sure
person
did.
here on the call, and maybe this will tell you what you sound like now. Egg, and every single time we have mentioned I have champ, has always put an asterisk next to it because he needed that, and now you need that. And I think it's
You
more
have-
telling of you guys than it is of me.
You're denying reality. I'm going to go get everyone involved and ask simply, did Paul score an elbow genie point? Because on smooth comp, it says he didn't. Did we score that? Okay, cool. I win.
It's a shame you didn't win. Nonetheless, we got some comments. The first of which, and I still can't believe this is. Let me try and fix this. Ooh. All right, Bobby, I'll just read your comment. It said, I thought CJ upgraded Jits. PGF took Jits to another level. Congratulations. Well, thank you. We were involved in one of those, and we covered the other one. Bullpen just got handsomer. Yes, spa days for all. And it says, what was Egg's scoring points for the fantasy points? I mean, irrelevant at this point. We have smooth comp. That's why we have these things, people. And we did screenshot it.
He's
and
boycotting handing the belt
the
over.
results are certified now. And that's why we have to move on to the next topic.
By
which
who?
is
By who?
By the
Who's
commission.
certifying them?
The law.
I want an independent body to inspect this.
You know what the best part is? This is how you know you get the competitive side of Kevin that's like, I'm all loose. I'm fine. Oh, wait, I didn't win? Even though my math score wasn't higher, I'm going to keep talking until it seems like I do. Or I
My
get
math
out
score
of-
is higher. It is.
Your score, unfortunately, is not higher if you did the math, which I think you were just doing right now. And then as you're doing
Yeah, I
this,
just did the math.
just like
88 to 89. I did the math. Back
From
on the
Smooth
week of the
Comp.
PGF, I knew I
You
won.
were doing it.
I knew I won before we even did the playoffs, and RAF tried to extend it to, all right, well, we're gonna include
I
playoff
was doing
scores.
what we did last year. And then even
Mhm.
in the playoffs, if you take that, you had 2 3s and I had a 6.
You can
So I'm just
you
saying
can include the
even-
playoffs. Who scored your 6?
That was Ryan.
How? Who did you
Your
get?
naked choke.
His first round? Oh, okay.
So see, even by those
Anyways.
metrics, we just drew. So Kevin,
So they don't score for the PGF? There's no scoring in the playoffs, so even if we include the playoffs, they don't score any points?
unfortunately, we
I
did that
never
last
understood.
year. So since you're the new guy, I know it's hard. You were like busy competing. Well, season 6. But now that you're here, I know it takes on a new thing, and you just didn't ask the right questions because you did notice the egg didn't respond to that question, even though he accepted the results a year before. It's very strange. It's very strange that you guys are so inconsistent with what you do. Whereas one thing you can say about me is at least I'm consistent in what I do. So, Kevin, there's another topic that you need to address now, and we're so short on time, which is the GOAT returns. Marcelo is going to 1FC. What was your first reaction when you heard that Marcelo would be returning?
That's going to be great, man. That's going to be great. Simple. I like that one is starting to pull in all of these jiu-jitsu icons, right? Like they pulled in Mikey, and then they grabbed Tom DeBlas and Marcelo Garcia. They're like trying to court the jiu-jitsu community, and it's really cool to see like a major MMA promotion try and do that, because I feel like major MMA promotions are always in love with the strikers. They're in love with the guys that can bang, and that's cool. I want to see one that appreciates the grappling aspect of the sport, and it would be cool to see 1FC gradually shift into that. I think they already kind of are by a long shot, but it would be really cool to see MMA start catering to grappling and grappling skill sets. Not necessarily pro jiu-jitsu. I think that's probably really boring. I'll study pro jiu-jitsu, but I don't really watch it.
Oh wow!
I think I'm like a lot of grapplers that way. I'll watch MMA. I will study grappling. So I don't necessarily think we need to court the pro jiu-jitsu more than they already have. I just want to see jiu-jitsu and groundwork being respected more in MMA, being appreciated more.
Thank you for that. I mean, listen, dude, I'm super stoked to see Marcelo return. I would assume that means he's healthy and he's in a good place. So that, above all, is A+. The other thing to consider here is, who are we matching up? Because didn't they just, on that promotion, say, hey, Shinya, you know what sounds like a fun excuse for you to compete with now? Cole Abate. So have fun. Enjoy that. And I've seen people start to say, why are we doing this match? And I think the answer is simple: to try and get more press, just to elevate the status of Cole. It seems so odd that these are some mismatches. So I look forward to Marcelo Garcia being paired up with most people, but I'm also highly nervous it's going to be some random first day white belt, just to be like, we wanted to see how he'd do and kind of like tool up some white belt just to kind of like show you.
I'm not nervous about that at all. I actually think that's a solid business model. I think if you see a competitive grappling match in the one cage while like MMA and Muay Thai are happening, we're going to get booed out the room. You need to see Marcelo Garcia just style on somebody. Just absolutely go find a blue belt that's like 20 pounds lighter than him and has bad cardio.
It's my hope that the first one's always the appetizer. So unless they blow their wad and they're like, hey, he's only coming back for like 1 match, 2 match, 3 matches. Sure, maybe that's when you go for a marquee match. He's just a very hard person to pair up. And I don't know how you convince other legends to be like, hey, you want to come for less money? Because we're not going to pay him Marcelo money. And you have one VP, Tom DeBlas, who has good relationships with these people. And we'll get to what these relationships mean in one of our next topics. But let's move on to our next one, which is sandbagging. Okay, so Pat Downey is going to compete at the IBJJF. And as per their rules, he will be competing in the blue belt division. My question to you, Kevin, what gives here? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's fucking silly, man. We've had tons of instances of the IBJJF just refusing to give legitimate black belts accreditation as black belts. Ensign Inouye is the one that pops to mind. So they're so used to holding back belts, I think they need to force him up. Fuck that, man. He did CJI. This dude's had matches with Gordon. Like, at a certain point, you have to look at it and go, dude, you're not a fucking blue belt. Let's use, like, he's a name. I know they have rules and they fucking love their rules. They just love their rules. But anyone with eyeballs should be able to look at this and go, yeah, get the fuck out of here, bro. Sorry, bro. Best we can do is purple belt. Best we can do is purple belt. We're not letting you just chew through all these fucking blue belts. Not to say there's not a blue belt who can't submit him, but like, frankly, IBJJF Worlds is an amateur tournament. It's supposed to be for hobbyists. I don't think you can let him run rampant on a bunch of people that are like, it'd be cool to go to Worlds. Boy, I'm going to have a great time and I'm going to bring my family. Like, you can't let Pat Downey kill those guys.
Can we hear that voice again?
Nope.
Don't just listen.
Sure can't.
What do you mean, sure can't?
That's little Timmy, man. That's little Timmy going to have a great time. He's like, I can't wait. I hope both teams have fun. And then Pat Downey fucking body lock suplexes him into side control. Like, just, oh, man. Blue belts don't even know how to break fall yet. If you're a purple belt and you don't know how to break fall, that's your fucking problem. But, like, don't let an Olympic caliber athlete in there with some blue belt who's been training 3 times a week for like a year and a half. Fuck that.
I'll be honest with you. I know how to break fall too, but I've never had somebody like Pat Downey trying to suplex me. So,
yeah, same.
You know, I don't know if those certain things apply. I don't know if slapping the mat's 100% going to spare you a life, but seems noble in its cause. I would just say that.
What's the IBJJF stance on wearing like an entire Michelin Man suit?
I would say this. I am intrigued to see if people will convince them to do the pro league. And that's been something that I've seen floated. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's a realistic option? Would you be interested in that? Because I think that's the weird middle ground, which is some of those accountants want that smoke. Like some of those hobbyists, that's the only way they can get these things. But to me, as somebody who looks at like a Lovato or a JT Torres, who may be slightly older, but still fantastic grapplers, seems like a bad day at the office.
If they do a pro league, I think they can't use the belts anymore. They need to do the Naga thing, the intermediate and advanced or whatever. Don't even bother with beginner. They had pro tournaments when I first started jiu-jitsu, and apparently they were very poorly attended. It was really hard to get, whoever to sign up for something believing they're a pro, knowing they might run up against, Johnny Grippo or somebody like that, Keenan Cornelius. They didn't want the smoke. Honestly, I think pro jiu-jitsu is so widely available. Like we're in that boom right now of everyone and their mom is doing a pro tournament. Everyone and their mom is starting a pro tournament, that if the IBJJF tries to jump in, I feel like most pros do pro because, or a part of it is that they fucking hate the IBJJF. I don't want to shit on them too hard, but like, I don't trust the IBJJF to make a fair ruling when my money's involved. Fuck that. I have no interest in that. If you want to throw your money away for a shot at maybe getting paid, maybe getting a match with Pat Downey, like cool. Like you're walking into the casino with $200 and you're willing to lose it. Okay, that's cool. Do that thing. But like you could also just do that, for a real promotion that actually potentially has integrity as opposed to one doesn't.
And Mark clip to Brian. Thanks,
Yep.
Brian. You already know what to do on that one. Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that. My standing with the IBJJF is always in flux. So
I'm never winning another match. I thought about doing Worlds this year. I think I should probably not.
It's very funny to me that I also thought about doing Nogi Worlds, and then I looked at how much it costs.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, sir. This is before I get like an Airbnb. What are we talking about here? So
yeah, try a coast to coast flight, bro. Fuck.
I mean, dude, I got to drive to Vegas. I don't know if you know this, but I unfortunately missed Chris Wojcik's seminar because my car battery died. I think he tampered with it. I think I can prove it. But I did make it in time to a dinner with Woj and the guys. But I was explaining to him, I was like, you got to fly here. I had equipment, and there was nothing worse than having the equipment in my car and then thinking, is my car too fat? Like, did we add too many gelato waters? Like, what is happening now? And then realizing, like, oh, I might be stuck at the Orleans hotel with all of this car and all of this equipment, and found out it was a car battery. So anyway, when we talk about things like that and travel to Vegas is not always as easy as everybody thinks, especially from LA. So there be that, and it do be like that. Let's go to our next topic, which is, hey, did you guys hear that Mikey Musumeci has been signed by the UFC? The UFC is saying that there are going to be more people to come. Kevin, I'm going to open this up to you in a second, but first, your initial thoughts on Mikey signing with an exclusive BJJ contract with the UFC. And two, what say you about Dana saying he's going to sign many more very, very soon?
For 10 grand, I'll fight John Jones. Yeah, I think it's great. Again, we're booming. I think it proves that the Fight Pass Invitational was a massive success. So shout out to those guys, all of the people that had opportunities to put on impressive shows to show what pro jiu-jitsu can be. I think it's going to be hard to get on the UFC. I think you're really going to have to like not just be good, but be exciting, but have a personality, have a following. So I think we're looking at the next tier, right? Like it was ADCC for a long time. It was IBJJF for a long time. Then it was ADCC. Then for a brief flash in the pan, CJI. I think the UFC might be the next big cash cow that people start chasing. You got to like that about jiu-jitsu and pro jiu-jitsu is every year there's something new. You're part of a growing sport, man. You're part of the boom.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I would say. We were just talking about ONE FC, and I wanted to give us kind of a little bit of a palate cleanser before we got back to this. But it does beg the interesting question. ONE FC essentially had locked down most of their guys to mostly exclusive contracts, as we found with CJI. UFC now says that with their brand, they will be signing exclusive contracts. There's rumors that they're going to start their own event, which I thought they already had one. But nonetheless, I don't want to get off too much on a tangent. But Dana White's saying that they're investing big money into this. If it's not the Fight Pass Invitational, what do you think it is?
I don't think there's any shot in hell that there's going to be grappling on UFC cards. I don't think that should happen. We've talked about that on the show before. I think that's always bad. I think you start sliding grappling in as a contrast to MMA. Like you get halfway through some MMA fights and it's like, all right, and here's two guys who want to fight it out in 50-50. Like you're going to get booed out the fucking room. You can't even wall work somebody these days without getting booed out of the room. America just doesn't love grapplers like that. So it's probably not that. My guess is they saw the success of CJI and they're going to try to replicate it.
All right. Well, I mean, here's what I would say. I think if they want to do that, it could also mean maybe they cut a deal with CJI. Maybe. Who knows? But I like to think that the UFC has some plans. I just don't know what they are yet, and I'm intrigued by that. And it's nice to know that they have a flex, so maybe they wanted even more control, or maybe they want two different sorts of properties. I don't know that they would go that ONE FC route either. I think they kind of like the idea of this is separate, this is our moneymaker. But for them now to be investing in jiu-jitsu, intrigued. I want to see what happens.
I thought about them potentially doing true combat jiu-jitsu, right? Like just allowing ground and pound and elbows and knees and stuff once it hits the ground. Have it be a wrestling match and then ground pound, elbows, whatever. I think that's possible. I don't know the loops with all the athletic commissions. So I don't know the details. But if you were going to do that, you wouldn't sign Mikey Musumeci. That's not his bag. You would sign, somebody wild. Damian Anderson, who's got a couple starch knockouts in there. I think it's probably going to be a CJI type event.
We'll see. I mean, I'm intrigued. It'll definitely manifest itself very quickly. So super stoked for that. Okay. Let us now go to our next topic, which is surprise. Something happened during the month of October, and I realized we never got an update on how the rest of your October surprise went, Kevin. So for the record, would you mind telling the people here, how did the rest of your October surprise do? And did you actually stay true to what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, so I couldn't use functionally any of my good leg locks for all of October. I had one, right? I couldn't use Aoki's, heel hooks, inside heel hooks, straight ankles. I could use knee bars, toe holds, and for whatever reason, Z-locks are fair game. That was crazy. I Z-locked so many people. I probably hit more Z-locks in the month of October than I've hit my entire grappling career. Same thing with toe holds. So I wasn't allowed to use these leg locks, and I think it actually maybe made me better. I had one golden bullet I was able to walk around with. I could use one of those band submissions one time the entire month of October, and I used it on a Ukrainian national team member who came by American Top Team Lima, and he was supposedly like a youth world champion. I have no idea. He was a very clean wrestler, but yeah, right, like I've no context for that, and people say things a lot. He barely spoke English, and like his buddies told me, Ukrainian national team, world champ, whatever. And on that day, I was teaching heel hooks, teaching leg locks, and he and his buddies are sitting there doing the maybe. I mean, not me personally. I wouldn't tap to that face the whole time. So I had a leg lock that nice gentleman as my clear, it works. It works. There's also the possibility that he doesn't tap, and now I'm looking foolish because I'm not going to break this guy's leg. But thankfully he did tap, and that was my one. I'm not going to lie. I kind of bent the rules a little bit, but it's not my fault. I put people in leg entanglements, and they were scared I was going to rip their shit and tapped immediately. And I was like, I don't know what this counts as. Like, I just put you into Ashi, and I looked at your leg, and you tapped. What are we doing? Is that illegal? I don't know. But I started doing it. If I knew that guy was scared, I'd fake the leg lock and get him to tap. You need a couple seconds to catch your breath. That's a solid play. Just rip enough legs apart, be known as that guy that yanks stuff, and all you got to do is look at it and you get free taps. Pro tip.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is a person who would have you believe that he has the integrity to hold this title. You've heard from KEVIN SHERRILL, and
this man is actively cheating and calling my integrity into question.
I'm literally telling the people that you have an ambiguous relationship with the truth, and that
I do, but that doesn't make me wrong.
Actually, you literally were like, I mean, I don't want to say I was wrong, but I might have put people in objectionable places that skirts the line. I mean, Kev, I think we've heard a lot about your integrity in just a short amount of time, but I thought we could have trusted you better to adhere to a surprise, and I guess
I did.
was on us.
I did.
Oh, no. You told us.
It's not one of those band techniques. If I put you in 50-50 and you tap, that's not a heel hook.
One silver bullet, and then you utilize the position with intimidation to your training partners. And then doing so, made it seem like you were going to do something.
Yep.
And maybe they were tapping because they know how competitive you are. They know that you'll take any
tapping to a bluff is
to
tapping
win.
to a bluff, son.
I think they know you'll take any measures to try and win, and that's why I wanted to make sure that you knew that we don't stand for that here. We have ethics, we work hard for our results, and we cheer on the people who champion our causes. So that's why I just wanted to say thank you to my team who provided me yet another incredible year as their champion.
The Kevinettes won season 7.
Ryan Aiken,
stay woke.
Elijah Carlton, Cam Hurd, Nathan Haddad, and Davis Asari. Thank you for your contributions. We appreciate you. Let's go to our next topic, which is a surprise. It is the fight. So hold on. Your mom is in. Oh,
I know. She threw me under the bus.
Wow, this is the best.
Threw me under the fucking bus.
This is time for me to actually.
I was hoping you wouldn't see that. I'm not gonna lie.
It makes so much sense. Oh my God, Kevin is the youngest. Rules don't apply to the youngest. Wow.
Immediately under the bus.
Wow. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I'm glad your mom. Don't text her right now. No. Leave her alone.
I'm not texting her. I'm texting my fighter. They asked what time I'm going to be there tonight.
All right, fair enough. All right. Well, there is that. We will now get to the fight here. And when we get to see this here in a second, I want to tell you guys, normally Tim picks these fights. Here this week, Kevin Sherrill actually picked this one. And this is just as good as winning a championship, which I have now done twice. This is great. Oh, man.
He benefited from 2 rules infractions and still didn't win. He just tied.
Is so great.
They made up 2 rules for him. Elijah's extra 3 points, and they took away Paul's elbow genie point. And this man still just tied me.
And you know what the best part is here?
He included the playoffs and still just tied me.
Think about this. It's that Paul himself is a lawyer, and if he really wanted to, he could have arbitrated those points. And then he didn't. And then then you think to yourself, he'll let them happen. And I mean, Paul's such a nice guy. He was like, man, I'm not competitive at all. You can have these points. Like, this doesn't check out.
I genuinely think he just doesn't care about that 1 extra point. Like, Paul, being an incredibly elite athlete, very much so, does not care about any of the trappings around competing. Does not give a shit about the details. He's like, listen, I just go out there to fuck people up, and if that happens, that's sick, and if it doesn't happen, that's a bummer. I'm going to go back and live my good life. See y'all in Rio.
Speaking of a bummer, it just sucks not to have won. Anyway, let's look at this fight that you found. What can you tell us about the fight that you picked for us this week, Kevin?
You didn't win. At best, you tied, and you didn't even tie.
Kev,
anyways, fight.
Kev, let me tell you this. You will never get the last word to throw because I can just mute you. I'm asking you to go to the next segment. You keep
all right, let's go to the fight.
Shoehorn your dumb comments. I asked you before. Tell us about the fight. So I'm going to ask
Let's
you
do the
again.
fight.
Tell us about your dumb fight clip that you picked, sir.
It's so good too. Send it.
Preview what it is. Tell us what we're going to see.
Oh! I thought I was waiting for you to cut it open.
I said,
all right,
before
sick,
I
man.
show it,
No.
Have
We
you
are
tell
seeing.
us. This is what we do all the time.
I love this so much. We are seeing the battle of our time, right? Clearly, this man. I love this. 2 gentlemen. I have no idea what started the fight, but clearly, one guy picks up a 2x4 and it is ready to go, and the camera's gonna open on Extra Buddy, who saw that challenge and decided to meet it and picked up. And it's, they're both doing their best Darth Maul impression. It's great.
Well, let's, now that you have previewed it, take a look at the video that you sent us for this week. Oh, boy.
Here we go. God, he does the Indiana Jones guy spin. He's letting him know, listen, I don't play. Oh, shit, I fucked up. I'm out of my depth. Bam. Gets taken out by a traffic cone. Dude, I love that that's where the video cuts. Is in the middle of the slam. Dude, he comes out like an Elder Scrolls boss. This man's holding it with the low guard. Oh, no. Bam. Total miss. He swings, but I choose to believe this happened like an anime where when he swings, the gust of wind that came off of it knocked him into that cone. He wasn't just unaware. He sent him into it.
Let me point this out for you right now. The glory that you found in this, it's only 15 seconds long, but I'll just give you the recap of how I saw it when you sent it to me, because I have to prep this. And normally I don't look at the full video, but there was only 15 seconds, so I saw the whole thing. And it said, look, watch it. You mentioned that. See, we're talking Darth Maul here. I'm thinking he's like drill sergeant captain, and like this is a rifle, except it didn't quite stick as well with him. Now, this dude, how do 2 people get 2x4s? I guess is the real answer here. Like, how did we agree upon this? Now, this is where I think things go awry. Because
I love that.
I'm showing off. Oh, shit. This is where you know you're at a disadvantage. But check out this lady who's like, I have places to be. Guys, please don't hit each other with 2x4s. Whatever you do, please don't do this. And the gentleman who's now swinging it has no concern. As he comes through, He swings once wildly, which is so off mark, and I think it was to scare him.
10 feet away.
And I think it's just to be like, you get. And then instead it's, ooh. And I have to tell you, it cuts off right here. And I think it does it on purpose to leave it to your imagination. Do you think he hit him here? Can you prove it? This is essentially the Inception ending of endings for fight videos, because it's open to your own interpretation. As we now take a look at it one more time in glorious slow motion, it's even better when you watch the twirling. It's, I got this. I'm talking shit. I got you. I got you, fam. Now watch me go to work here and I think it's slipping.
I love that he
fingers.
slows down.
Ew, ow. And yeah, she has no ability to stop. But this is where she gives up. And I got to give her credit because at least she's trying to get in the mix. The dude further in the back could not be more removed from responsibility here. And then the gust of wind down. I have to say, the best seat in the house is that white car. That white car right there had to have been laughing its ass off. Like, it's a traffic day. You're in a bad mood, but that'll brighten my day if I'm in LA traffic. Guarantee you that. So,
Oh, yeah.
There be that. Kev, I think we have made it through all the topics. Why don't we go ahead and do some plugs? Because you got to go do stuff tonight. You got to go corner some people, and I got to go talk about fights. So I'll put the camera on you, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to be cornering a bunch of my fighters from American Top Team Lima. They're on some local fights, NFC. If you can get those for free, please do. Tune in and watch. Trace Harper is going to kill some people. Zach Cooper, Liam Harrison, Blade King. That's a real name. These guys are all fighting tonight. They're going to do great. There's a bunch of ones I missed, but it's a long night. We're like every other fight. If you can get those for free, tune in. If you can't get them for free, please don't. The NFC sucks. Follow me on Kevin Grapples on Instagram.
Another organization that will not do business with us. In response to your question, damn, Tim's still down for the count. He unfortunately is. We will pass on your well wishes. And it says, I'm at work. We'll watch later. Thank you very much. I think you'll enjoy especially the top part of this show for no apparent reason.
Yeah, please do, Egg.
I mean, here's the nice part. He can complain all he wants. But
if he's got access to Smooth Comp, I'm in there.
But I would have documents that would show tampering. So, unfortunately, that would be a violation.
It's not going to beat the video. It's not going to beat the video evidence that the score was recorded incorrectly.
I'm so sorry, Kevin. You know the results at Smooth Comp. A valued sponsor of the PGF. Who are you to come in and take down the integrity of Smooth Comp that has been with the PGF for years and has provided quality service that should not be questioned? And I'm just astounded that you would say things that beguile and defile what a wonderful organization they are. How dare you, sir? How dare you, sir?
I love the recovery on beguile because I bet 80% of our viewership, the grapplers, have no idea what it means, and you can just rock with that and move on to defile. Solid save.
To be fair, it rhymes.
Genuinely.
So if anything
genuinely
rhymes,
solid
no
save.
one gives a shit if it rhymes.
Literally, if I hadn't said anything, they would have no idea.
To be fair, I think
Egg would be the only one who messages you directly.
I'll be honest with you, Kev. I think sometimes they know, and I think they know that we're having fun. Just like they know that sometimes you might say a word or a stat that isn't accurate, and they go, it's not the end of the world. So I don't think anybody here is losing any kind of credibility for the low amount we have here on this show. But nonetheless, I thank you. You know what? You were a worthy adversary, and I compliment your so closedness. And
yeah, I'm gonna hop in Martine's DMs and tell him he needs to step it up. Got to give me more points next year, buddy. What are you doing? Get in the gym.
Can I tell you the full disclosure of this whole thing that made it so difficult? I took second in the other one, the one that TJ ran. And what ended up happening was every time I was doing well in one, it had implications for the other. So I started trying to think in ways that I was like, man. And there was a trade that should have happened, was accepted, and then just kind of like disappeared from the collective consciousness for Ryan Aiken, which would have made me a clear number one. But instead, somehow still ended up in Matt Vega's possession, where then Matt Vega had no clue that he was winning. And I just went up to him and I was like, hey man, congratulations. You know, you're winning. It's close with the playoffs. I think you still got it, but I wanted to let you know that. And he was just like, so I'm winning. And I go, mm-hmm. He goes, so that belt is mine. I was like, no, that's not how this works. You're not in that organization. Like, this is to this show. And specifically, to be very clear, no one said belts were on the line on this one. So,
I'm gonna see if BMAC will make me a belt for real. We're doing it like the UFC, where you get a new belt every time. Every time there's a new champ. I'm just gonna throw that up there.
I legitimately thought about asking BMAC to do that, and then I realized I think the dude's got other things to take care of. It's just an in-between season thing, but it did make me enough where I was like, I love the fact that somebody came over and he's a pro wrestling fan, and they usually have one belt for SmackDown, one belt for Raw. And I was like, you of all people should know how this works. I have the real one. You have the lame B-side one. Like, real one, B show. Real show one, B show. So I know points enough well to actually go up to somebody when they do clearly win and say, like, congratulations, sir. And I did. I did offer my congratulations to him. Didn't need to do that here. So,
yeah, if you won, you'd have never heard a word from me. If.
Wait, I'm sorry. If you had won, you would have never
if you
said
had
a
won.
word. If
I wouldn't have told you a thing.
You would have never told me a thing.
I'd have pretended I wasn't watching it. I'd have been like, "Oh, is that?" I didn't even keeping track. I'd have done the egg thing. I don't care. I don't care whether I win.
Okay. Hey, listen.
I'm not even. I forgot we did that.
A lot of people won at fantasy. It's pretty clear. You guys can see that. Everybody knows fantasy. It's a diminishable thing. But can we just say this before we do sign off? We did both trounce egg. Like, trouncing Tim was in the plan. We kind of knew that would happen. But both of us gloriously beating egg is something that I think will keep this ship on its very
ran away with it.
Mutual respect. And if anything, I think we proved that the person who's too busy to keep up with the stats, that would be me in this situation, by the way, and the person who does not do stats well, that would be you in this situation, still managed to trounce the guy who was at the computer, obsessed with his results, and basically does the math. So congratulations to us, Kevin. That's really what it comes.
Congratulations to us.
Good job.
All right. Catch you later, man.
I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing out of its near end. Kevin, good work this week, and welcome to the show for official, sir. All right, you guys, that's going to do us for us here at the Bullpen. We hope all things are going well on your side. It has been a great day for grappling. I hope you were enjoying things. Be sure to follow us on the Grappling Hour on the Bullpen Live. You can find us now on Instagram. You can also see us at a multitude of different spots. Tonight, I'm actually going to be doing a fight companion for the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson match. That feels weird to say out loud, but we know where we're at now in this world. So be sure to check that out. I'll put out a link on the socials and whatnot. But to my friends, thank you so much for watching. And to our friends over at the PGF, thank you so much for including us. We really appreciate your guys' work. We hope that we contribute in a meaningful way and that we have a lot of fun and hijinks that we add to the situation. So anyway, I guess Kevin's not here, so I can just kind of sign off with this because, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's not all hurt about it. Yep. Okay. Let me see if anybody on Instagram is saying anything. What's up, Sauce Pro? Officer Grimy? I see you guys. Nonetheless, this is your champ, RAF ESPARZA. 2 times. Signing off, saying, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.